You're here because your brain won't switch off at night, and you want to know exactly how to change that right now. You're exhausted, your body is done, but the moment your head hits the pillow, it starts. The mental replay of conversations you had 3 days ago. The to-do list that suddenly feels urgent at 11 p.m. The worry spiral that goes nowhere but keeps going anyway. Round and round, while you lie there staring at the ceiling, watching the hours disappear. Here's the thing, that's not anxiety, that's not insomnia, that's your brain doing something very specific. And once you understand what it is, you can actually stop it. This video is going to give you 3 things. The real reason your brain activates at night instead of winding down. And it's not what most sleep advice tells you, and what actually works, based on how the brain genuinely operates at night. But first, how familiar is this? You're tired all day, genuinely exhausted. You're looking forward to sleep. And then the moment you get into bed, something shifts. The noise starts, not loud, just constant. A running commentary of everything you didn't do, everything you're worried about, everything you said that you probably shouldn't have. And the harder you try to stop it, the louder it gets. That experience, that specific, maddening, isolating experience, is one of the most common things people quietly suffer through every night for years, and almost nobody explains why it actually happens. Here's the neuroscience, and it's genuinely fascinating. During the day, your brain is busy. External demands, work, conversation, decisions, screens, constantly pull your attention outward. That outward focus acts as a suppressor. It keeps your brain's internal processing system quiet because there simply isn't room for it. That internal system has a name. Neuroscientists call it the default mode network, the DMN. It's the part of your brain that activates when you're not focused on the outside world. It processes unresolved experiences, runs through social scenarios, rehearses future events, and tries to make sense of everything that hasn't been fully processed yet. During the day, the DMN gets suppressed by everything competing for your attention. But the moment external stimulation drops, the moment you lie down in the dark and the world goes quiet, the DMN fires up, full volume, and everything it's been waiting to process comes flooding in. So the racing mind at night isn't random, it's scheduled. Your brain has been saving things up all day, waiting for a quiet moment to deal with them. The problem is that moment is supposed to be sleep. Here's the part that explains why everything you've tried hasn't worked. The harder you try to stop thinking, the more you think. This isn't a personal failing. It's a documented psychological phenomenon, the ironic process theory. When you actively try to suppress a thought, your brain has to keep checking whether the thought is still there, which means it's still there. And now you're thinking about it twice. Telling yourself to stop thinking is like telling yourself not to think about a pink elephant. The instruction contains the problem. The other reason standard advice fails is that most of it targets the symptoms rather than the source. A cooler room doesn't stop an unresolved thought spiral. Blue light glasses don't process the anxiety your brain has been storing all day. These things have their place, but they're finishing touches on a structure that hasn't been built yet. The actual fix happens earlier. It's simpler than most people expect. Here's what this is actually costing you, and not just in lost sleep. One bad night is manageable. But chronic poor sleep, the kind that builds up over weeks and months of lying awake with a brain that won't cooperate, has consequences that go far beyond feeling tired. Impaired memory, reduced emotional regulation, weakened immune function, increased anxiety during the day, which then makes the night worse, which increases the day anxiety, a cycle that tightens over time. And the cruel irony is that the more you dread the night, the more you approach bedtime with the anticipation of another battle. The more activated your nervous system becomes, before you even get into bed, the struggle itself becomes the trigger. That cycle is breakable, but not with the same approach that created it. Here's what actually interrupts it. 3 things, each one targeting a different part of the problem. First, give the default mode network something to do before bed. Remember, the DMN fires up at night because it has unfinished business. The intervention is to give it that business earlier, deliberately, in a controlled way. This is why a specific kind of journaling works when generic advice doesn't. Not gratitude lists, not free writing, a structured brain dump, 5 to 10 minutes where you write everything unresolved, everything pending, everything your brain is holding. Not to solve it, just to externalize it. Research from Baylor University found that writing a specific to-do list for the following day before bed, not journaling about the past, but writing forward, significantly reduced the time it took participants to fall asleep. The brain, once it sees the plan is captured, releases the need to keep rehearsing it. Give the DMN its processing time before you get into bed, and it has less reason to claim it after. Second, use the body to signal safety to the nervous system. A racing mind at night is partly a nervous system problem. The body is still in a low-level alert state. Cortisol hasn't fully dropped. The system hasn't received a clear signal that the day is done and the threat level is zero. The physiological sigh. A double inhale through the nose, followed by a long, slow exhale, activates the parasympathetic nervous system rapidly. A few of these before sleep, and a wellness trend, they are a direct signal to your nervous system. The day is over. You're safe. Stand down. Third, stop trying to sleep and start trying to rest. This sounds subtle, but it's significant. Sleep performance anxiety. The pressure to fall asleep is one of the primary drivers of lying awake. The moment sleep becomes a goal you're trying to achieve, your brain treats it like a task, and task mode is the opposite of sleep mode. The reframe is to aim for rest, not sleep. Comfortable stillness. No agenda. This removes the performance pressure, which lowers arousal, which, without you forcing it, allows sleep to arrive naturally. You cannot chase sleep. You can only create the conditions for it. Here's what most people never realize about the racing mind at night. It's not the enemy. It's a symptom of a brain that cares about your life, your relationships, your responsibilities, your future. The default mode network isn't malfunctioning. It's doing exactly what it evolved to do. Processing, planning, protecting. The problem isn't that it runs. The problem is that it runs at the wrong time, in the wrong conditions, without ever being given a better outlet. When you build a life that includes deliberate processing time, space to think, to reflect, to externalize what's unresolved, the brain arrives at night with less to do. Not nothing, but less. Even at 11 p.m. in the dark is everything. The quiet mind you're looking for at night is built during the day. And it starts with understanding that your brain isn't broken. It's just trying to help at the worst possible time. You came into this video exhausted by your own mind, by the nightly ritual of lying there while your brain runs laps around things that can't be solved in the dark. That doesn't have to be tonight's story. The brain that won't switch off isn't working against you. It just hasn't been given a better option yet. Now you know what that option looks like. Tonight, try a different approach and see what a quieter mind actually feels like. If this finally explains something you've been struggling with, share it with someone who needs a better night's sleep. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more science-backed content on the mind and how to work with it.